Okay, welcome back. This is attorney Thomas Burton, and I wanted to do another video on the Paycheck Protection Program. This is video 10 in my series on the Paycheck Protection Program, which is a new loan program authorized under the CARES Act, passed by Congress, and being administered by the Small Business Administration, the SBA. So today we've got a lot of news in Wisconsin with the Supreme Court ruling yesterday afternoon, which is allowing ending the governor's safer at home order as of now, and many businesses are reopening. Be aware you should check with your local health authorities. If you are a business, they're going to govern. They do have significant authority under state law, and so your local health authorities, now that the statewide order has been struck down by the Supreme Court, it's going to fall to the local health authorities depending on what county and municipality you're in. But in terms of the Paycheck Protection Program, this loan program is still available, and Congress did allocate more money to the program. So if you're someone out there who hasn't applied and you're still thinking about applying, I would watch my previous videos on the topic, but I wanted to bring to your attention today, for many of my small business clients, friends, and neighbors, there's new guidance on the U.S. Treasury website. And if you recall, and if you were working with me several weeks ago, it's hard to believe it's been several weeks already, but when I was looking at this video series, I've already done 10 videos, so that tells you we've been at this for quite a while. But the thing is, back then there was a lot of confusion when the program was first opening about how to apply and what documentation was needed and all that sort of thing. Well, now, as I cautioned you at the beginning, government moves slow and they're catching up to the law that Congress wrote. So the CARES Act was this massive law, and we almost never see legislation like that passed so quickly and then pushed out to the community banks to administer, and the banks didn't know what was going on. Well, now the link is in this video, below the video. I'll post the link. But there's new guidance from SBA, and let me see here. It's a new handout available on the website. So you know how I've been discussing the frequently asked questions they went through? Well, now they've got a new one specifically for borrowers, and in my opinion, this is what people needed from the beginning. But it's called How to Calculate Maximum Loan Amounts by Business Type. Okay, so when this all started, people could think about what type of business they had, right? They thought, I'm an individual, I'm a sole proprietor, or I'm an LLC, or I'm an S-Corp. But the way the application was worded, and in fact, I recall that first week telling my client there should be more check boxes on the top of this application, and sure enough, the next day they added them, so that there was more than just sole proprietorship or a C-Corp or an LLC. They also included S-Corp, a nonprofit, and the different types of entities. Well, this handout goes through how to calculate your maximum loan amount by entity type, okay? So if you recall my other videos, what they go by is that 2.5 times your average monthly payroll for the previous year. And I worked through this with many clients, and I did this in Excel spreadsheet, is how I calculated it. But now, if you're still out there applying now, you've got more formalized guidance. So that advice was good I was giving, but now you can go get this handout, choose your entity type, and walk through exactly what you need to do. So the first one, I'm not going to go through them all, but I'll go through the first one because it applies to a lot of people. I am self-employed and have no employees. How do I calculate my maximum PPP loan amount? And then they say right here, note, the PPP loan forgiveness amounts will depend in part on the total amount spent during the 8-week period following the first disbursement of the PPP loan. So again, be aware when you get your loan, not when you apply, but when the funds actually hit your account, that's when the 8-week period starts for you to use the money to pay employees and rent and other covered expenses, okay? So if you're slowly reopening or thinking about reopening, I mean, think about that 8-week period, because you don't control the timing. It's when the loan gets dispersed is the way they're saying it. So the answer, how to calculate it. The following method should be used to calculate the maximum amount that can be borrowed if you are self-employed and have no employees, and your principal place of residence is in the United States, including if you are an independent contractor or operate a sole proprietorship. Okay, so here's the easiest way to do it. Step 1, find your 2019 IRS Form 1040 Schedule C, go to line 31, net profit amount. And they're saying now if you have not filed your 2019 return, they want you to fill out and compute that value. Okay, so you know how they extended the tax deadline to July? Well, if you didn't file, they want you to fill it out anyway and compute that value. If this amount is over $100,000, reduce it to $100,000. Okay, so that's that upper limit, $100,000. So if you're over that, just reduce it to $100,000. If your net profit amount is less than 0, you're not eligible for a PPP loan amount. Okay, so this is what's tough. If you're a real new business and you weren't making money yet, you're not gonna be eligible for the PPP loan amount because it's based on net profit. You might want to look at the EIDL, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan on the SBA. That's a different program, so look at that. But for the PPP, this is how you do it. Okay, step 2, calculate the average monthly net profit amount. Divide the amount from step 1 by 12. Okay, so that's easy, 12 months. And you can do this in, like I say, Excel spreadsheet. Divide by 12 that amount from line 31 on Schedule 3. Multiply the average monthly net profit amount from step 2 by 2.5. So then your Excel spreadsheet, you can have times 2.5. And then if you got the EIDL loan, add the outstanding amount of any EIDL loan made between January 31 and April 3rd that you seek to refinance. Okay, so if you didn't get an EIDL, you don't have to add that amount. You've got the number then. So it's that 2.5 times average monthly net income. So anyway, it doesn't seem that complicated, but now they're giving you the exact steps, and that's for self-employed, okay? So if you go through this though, then the next page they say, how about self-employed and have employees? So page 2, you can go through that calculation. The next one is page 3. How about I am self-employed, I report it on Schedule F. So this means your net farm profit. So you use Schedule F line 34, net farm profit, when doing the calculation. Then there's one about how do partnerships apply, okay? So you can look at that if you're a partnership. Now one more I want to point out quick in today's video. How about eligible nonprofit organizations? Up to $10 million they can apply for. So that's question 6 on here, and it goes through how to calculate it for you. So I would refer to that page. It's very simple. And one last thing I want to mention today is question 8, and this is just what I was talking about. It says, I am an LLC owner. Which set of instructions apply to me? And here's the answer, and this is what I've been telling folks, but now we've got it in writing from SBA. LLCs should follow the instructions that apply to their tax filing situation. For example, whether they file as a sole proprietor, a partnership, or a corporation. Okay, so if you know how this gets confusing, because the legal definition of a sole proprietorship is you have no business entity. You're operating under your own name. But many single-member LLCs, like my law office, we file as a sole proprietorship on Schedule C if you elect flow-through taxation. So the answer here is follow your tax filing status in terms of how to determine the instructions to apply. And that makes good sense, right? But in the beginning, this was not clear, and so it's great to see some clarity to these answers. Unfortunately, I feel like it's a little bit late for a lot of folks because they had to muddle through all this without help. But if you're still looking at doing it, I would reference this document. The link's available below. If you have any questions or need help, feel free to reach out to my office for assistance. Stay safe, be well, and we'll see you next time.